everybody. It is Monday, May the 31st, last day of the month. This is Diane, the Creative Inkster, coming to you live from Guelph, Ontario. Tonight is Mystery Card Monday, where I post some supplies for you to gather to play along with me. And I don't show you the cards I'm working on until I'm at the very end of the video, and then I'll hold them up and we can see how close we are to putting things together in the same way. So I'm going to give you a few little hints along the way so you'll know what I'm intending with these different strips of paper. But hey, go wild and do what you want to do. So May 31st, great news in Ontario that we are under 1,000 cases for the first time since February. This is an awesome achievement. Can you remember the time back when we were excited when we were saying we have to have under 500, we have to have under 300, we have to have under 100? And my, how our perception has changed, but we're very happy to be in the position we're in this third wave, and inoculations or vaccinations are being done constantly. I'm actually getting my second one tomorrow, which is a pretty exciting thing. I'm actually able to get it at work. And so, yeah, getting closer to that 20% double vaccinated that we want to get to in the country. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to just invite you to give me a quick comment if you're watching. I know there's some of you out there who watch but don't comment. So just, say hi or put a period in the comment section and hit the reply button. That I know there's somebody out there in the ether for me to be talking to. Let's go over the supplies that we need. I'm going to make 4 cards tonight. I've made one on the weekend. I made a second one actually that I posted a little sneak peek about 45 minutes ago to give you an idea of what I'm planning to do with these strips. All right, so you need a card base. I did mine like this. So it's half a sheet of paper. This was 4 1/4 by 11. It's okay if you do it the other way and it opens the other way. That's totally fine. I think, well, I may not have done them all this way, but this first one is like that. Then you need a piece of white, and that's our usual layer on top white with leaving a border around. So let me hold this up so that it's a little bit closer. So you're going to have your usual 1/8 inch border on all 4 sides. And then we want to have this so we can do our stamping along the bottom, or if you choose, along the top. But I'm going to do all my stamping along the bottom. And then you need a piece of 4 by 4. So that's going to layer on top of here too. This is going to actually cover up the white. So let me get that down there. That's going to cover up the white. It's just so we do have a space to do white. You could cut 2 pieces, a white and your 4 by 4 if you want. I just find it easier to layer it on this way. Now before you put this piece on, if you're going to put any ribbon around this layer, get that on before you put it on the card base. And then I've got 4 strips, and these strips are 4 inches wide by 1 inch, 4 by 1, right? So 1 inch this way and 4 inches this way. And what we're going to do is create a bit of a patchwork quilt. So here is the idea of what's your 4 by 4 is going to look like. You're going to layer them in the format of what's that weaving, that paper weaving we used to do as kids? 2 horizontal and 2 vertical. So if your paper has a obvious pattern, as does this piece here that I'm working with, that's got to go vertically. It'll look weird going horizontally. So I kind of picked one card where I had that situation going on. Actually, this one over here, yeah, actually they all have a little bit of a vertical, better look vertical. So that's what I'm going with. Okay, and then that's all you need, and a piece of ribbon. You don't have to put a piece of ribbon around the bottom, but that's what I did to break up the space between the 4 by 4 and my greeting. But certainly you could put a piece of paper or anything else you wanted there. All right, that all aside, let's get started. I'm going to go ahead with my white. Now this is basic white, 4 1/4 by, 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to put my 4 by 4 on top of it like that, and I'm going to glue it down. And I'm using my Stamp and Seal. I'm starting to get a lot better at using this and getting it to flow really nicely. Practice makes perfect. And I've learned if it's not starting, stick it on a piece that's already sticky down, and that will start it going again. That helps. So there's a little tip for you. Speaking of tips and tricks and techniques and the like, on the weekend, I had the opportunity to participate in a super fun event. So a group that I'm connected with called the Silvers Supporting Silvers group on Facebook, and I can explain that another time. These are my sisters, and what we do with our customer base is we hold an event every quarter. So when you're on our team, then you can um, be on our team. You can attend this for free. It is 12 to 13 hours of content. It's all crafting tips and tricks. So our first one last fall was on using designer series paper in different ways. So we did all kinds of different projects. Our second one in January was, and it's not coming to me exactly what we specifically did. Anyway, the one we did this weekend in May was all techniques. So some of us did more than one. We certainly showed lots of samples and lots of ways to do techniques. So if you're ever considering becoming a demonstrator and you want to join under us and join my team in particular, then let me know. We have a sale going on today that is ending tonight, and the starter kit is normally $135, and you get $165 worth of product. No tax, no shipping. I mean, really. But it's at this time right now until the end of today, it's $206 worth of product for $135. Fantastic deal. And so I encourage you to think about that. At any time, it's a great deal, but it's particularly a good one right now. I'm just looking for my ruler just to draw a little line here because I want, my piece is 4 inches across. I want to line my first strip up at 1 inch and 3 inches so that I get them to match up together. That makes sense. I'm just putting a little line to get me started because I'm not so good at getting it down straight. So I want to get those lined up nicely. There we go. And I'm just gluing down, because I'm going to weave it, I'm going to glue down just the top piece so that I can weave underneath, if you get my drift. So there's my other piece that's going vertical. And I'm going to glue it down right beside in the same way. And then I'm going to add some glue underneath when I'm done, once I'm done the weaving. So what I've got down is my 2 vertical pieces. I've put adhesive at the top of them, but the other parts are supposed to fly free for now. Okay? And then I can do my weaving across. So weaving, we know it goes 1 under, 1 over. It's funny, I was doing this layout because I decided on this layout after I did something outside. But outside we have 2 swings, like those kind of freestanding swings in the backyard that, like, there's like a frame for them, like a swing set. And one of them, the fabric piece had broken off and torn, and so it was kind of looking like it was garbage. But I decided there had to be a way to fix this swing. So I ordered some chair webbing online from Amazon, and it's some really nice soft material. It's not that hard, crunchy stuff, those metal folding camp chairs that we used to all have, like back in the 70s and before that. Maybe they still sell them, I don't even know. and but it's some really nice soft webbing. And I was out there webbing the top and the bottom and the sides and getting it together. So it's been held in place temporarily, and then I'm going to sew it in the next day or so. I just needed to have some more time to do that part. And I should post a picture because I couldn't believe how well it turned out. Like, I was really impressed with the idea. So I found it, of course, on Pinterest, right? Or YouTube, if those are your go-to places to find things. Okay, so I'm using the same greeting for all, best year. This is a carrying over stamp set, and it has lots of greetings that are long and wide, and so they'll fit perfectly at the bottom. I mean, I could do a whole bunch of birthdays, but I like to change it up a little bit. So let's grab a block and ink this guy up. This is a thank you. Thank you for all that you are. I'm just going to have a trial run to make sure I'm getting it straight. And then I'll stick it down here on my card front layer. There we go. Oh, a little bit not quite. Not exactly straight, but that's okay. I can live with that. Ooh, okay. So I'm adding some of the ribbon. This is retiring. This is a Blushing Bride metallic ribbon that was in the January to June catalog. Love it. It's very pretty. It is very glimmery on one side and then flat looking on the other. So when you do tie a knot or a bow, it's going to have a little of both sides showing, unless you turn that around as you go. So that takes a little bit of planning here. I was able to get a bow to work nicely with it, so that the metallic showed as much as possible. You have to kind of twist the ribbon in the knot, which is what I'm doing here. Hey, that worked out all right. Oh, that's awesome. Very happy. Whoopsie. It fell on the floor. Okay. Get you back up here. All right, so this is my first card. Oops. I don't have my ribbon scissors handy, and I really should. They would be much better for trimming here. And I'm going to put a little glue dot behind the ribbon knot there, just so that it stays put and doesn't do a little wiggle on me. Tuck a little glue dot underneath my knot there. All right, oh, you're going to like this card. And then I'll take my dimensionals and put them on the back. When I do a card with ribbon around it, I usually like to put dimensionals to pop that layer up, because even if it's a thin ribbon, it can seem a little bumpy behind there, so I just kind of like to do that. Okay, so there's that one on, just about here. I don't have any embellishments, but I think this ribbon is quite pretty the way that it is, and I'm okay with the greeting being a little off. If I added a few little dimension or some kind of adhesive, what have I got? I got something handy here. Yeah, I could put a little bit of embellishment there, and it kind of draws your eye away from where it is, where your greeting is maybe not straight. So I learned this cool trick at this event on the weekend that my friend Marcy shared, and that is when you're putting embellishments down, try putting a little dab of glue behind them and first, and that helps them stay put. They'll never go anywhere. I thought that was a cool, helpful little tip. Okay, so that's that card done. And I realize my Stampin' Chamois is over here, so I gotta reach out of camera view to grab it. It's a little further over on my table. What a beautiful weekend we had. I mean, it was cool yesterday, but perfect weather for doing stuff out in the yard or just hanging out in the sunshine. It's quite nice in the sunshine. Okay, my next card is going to be with some brand new paper from the Pansy Petals and a new in color. a couple of new ink colors actually. So once again, I've got my 4x4 in a cardstock color, and I've got my 4 strips of pattern paper that are going to go down as a patchwork, mini patchwork, I guess I'm calling it, a mini patchwork quilt. I actually played with getting this one into some kind of a, I think it's easier to just put them down rather than try to assemble the patchwork look ahead of time. So I will just glue down one edge, one end of the pattern paper, just so that I'm sure to have it placed where I want, and then I can worry about weaving it. What was I going to do? Was I going to do this? I think so. Yeah. So all of our pattern paper that come, they usually, pretty much usually, match up within the set. So the colors are really interchangeable front and back, and interchangeable within different ones. So you've got a lot to work with that goes nicely together. We love our coordination at Stampin' Up. We totally do. So I'm using my grid paper to help me line things up. It just gives me that ruler at the bottom that I can work with, and then the grids going up are perfect. I want to put the glue here. Oopsie. Hello. Get that going. There we go. Just put that up nice and tight. There we go. So if you did find that it didn't line up really nicely and you needed something in the center to fix it, you can always add an embellishment of some kind in the center. And that will, if you have a little gap in this weaving in the middle. I looked at one of the sample card that I made on the weekend. I was like, something doesn't look right about it. It doesn't, the patchwork pattern doesn't look right. And then I realized I didn't actually weave it. I had just put it right across. So took that a little apart. Good to know that the Stampin' Seal comes apart. If I'd done it with liquid glue, it would be there quite a bit longer. You can always heat up your liquid glue, and doing that allows it, when you heat it up with your heat tool, that will help to loosen it up. Here we go. Oop. Let's get you lined up when we press you down. There we go. All right, then onto my white piece. This will go directly onto my white, and then I can do my stamping on the bottom. Maybe I'll do the stamping first this time, and that way, if I goof up, then I can have another take at it. So this one will be, I wonder if Hip Hip Hooray will fit here. That would be kind of different. Ooh. Come on. Hip Hip Hooray. What else paper am I going to use? No, I'm going to save that for a different card. I'm going to use Happy Birthday to You. This is a softer palette of color, and the greeting is a little bit softer, so they seem to go together nicely. And of course, I stamped that one nice and straight, right? So I was talking about our color coordination. So our pattern papers work nicely together, but also our inks and embellishments and ribbons and all of that all go nicely together, which makes matching it up really good. I remember when I first started paper crafting and was doing scrapbooking, and found that, you know, I would constantly be going back to the craft store to get ribbon that matched and taking my paper along, and oh, I want embellishments. Well, these aren't quite the right color, and maybe I was being too fussy, I don't know. But then I landed with Stampin' Up, and I was like, okay, I am happy. I have color coordination. I don't have to think about it. It's all done for me. Is this the color ribbon I want? Because it's awfully bright. Okay. And snips. So I think this time I'll tie the knot more so in the middle. So this ribbon that I'm using is one of the new In colors, and it's in our open weave ribbon, which is quite translucent in all the colors, but it's really beautiful to tie with because it's soft and simple that way versus some of the thicker, wider, and sturdier or more rigid ribbons, if you know what I mean. There we go. Beautiful. And you can see through, so I think that's kind of a nice touch. All right. And if you want to shimmy your knot or bow down, pinch your paper together and move it. Otherwise, you will tear you'll run the risk of tearing the paper at the edge because the ribbon can be, if you put it in fairly tight, it can be rather cutting. Oops. That one's a little bit short, or a bit long, rather. There we go. That's evened up nicely. All right, over to my card base. In polished pink. How pretty. It's a pretty name, too. I love it. And we'll get some of these down. There we go. I hope you'll try this layout because it's kind of fun. It's not too complicated, and it's certainly something you can do with your leftover scraps. Because let's face it, when we get our 6x6 papers, or even the 12x12s, you'll often cut a piece off that's like a 1 inch or 1.5 inch strip in order to make a card, full layer on a card. Well, here we go. We've got a whole bunch of pieces left over that we can use. All right, so I have 2 more cards to do. I can't believe it, but I'm actually making a Christmas card. And it isn't the first Christmas card that I have made this year. I guess this year. I made a Christmas card for another event with our new Christmas paper that's in the annual catalog. And I'm like, oh, Diane, it's May. Why are you making Christmas cards? There will be time. But it doesn't seem like that. Okay, this one's going to go this way. Get this one. Oh, I think I cut an extra piece just because on this pattern I really wasn't sure which I wanted to go with. How much red did I want and how much stripes did I want? Well, that's going to have to go that way. Oh, wait a second. That can go that way. Okay, that works. So I got 5 strips, or grabbed 5 strips from my stash so that I would have some options. So let's start getting these edges down. So grabbing my 4x4, lining it up on the grid paper, and that gives me a measurement of where I want the first one to go. And when you line it up on the grid paper, it shoots up and then your lines are on the other end. I know that sounds weird, right? All right, so I will put this one on. This way. Line it right up beside the other one. And now I'm ready to do my horizontal pieces. Oh, I love all this paper. This is Christmas paper. The one that we have in the annual catalog is so great for Christmas and July classes because let's face it, not always ready for that holiday catalog to come out. So this way I am ready to go. Put it on this way. And we can start making Christmas cards early. Christmas in July sounds way better than Christmas in August. I don't know, it just kind of rolls off the tongue a little bit better, doesn't it? You know what would be really neat too after you put this mini quilt together? Look at me, I'm quilting. Would be to run it through an embossing folder, and that would give you beautiful texture on it. Okay, you've got to scoot over there and add a little adhesive underneath. There we go. Yeah, all good. Okay, so then I'm going to grab my white, and there happens to be a Christmas greeting. Oh, hi, Lynn. Sorry, I was looking down. Welcome. I hope you had a good time on the weekend. It was really great to see all the different techniques and things that people were doing. So Best Year does have a Christmas greeting on it. And I'm going in. Perfect for this card right here. And I'm actually using, am I using the ink color, or I'm actually using Cherry Cobbler, which I often only use at Christmas. Seems weird, I know. There's certainly other times of the year to use it. Ooh. And I think it needs re-inking. So let's see what we can get out of it before I have to re-ink. Okay, pause for this message while we re-ink, because we need to. Cherry Cobbler gives me a chance to show you what I do. So these are the cases we used to sell, the big ones, and I print these off Bev Adams' page. She puts all the resources and stuff in there. I'm just going to grab the right color. Yeah. That was rich raspberry. Let's get the right color here. So I put all my ink refills in these boxes, and I have these nice labels that bevadams.com does for free. And I take my ink pad, I shake up my ink re-inker. I don't know if you're supposed to, but I do. And then I run it along like this. And you see it's just grabbing the color, like it's just soaking it up. And I put a good amount on there, back and forth. And then I take an old credit card or gift card, and I go this way and this way, just gently pressing it, and that helps distribute the ink. I used to use a what do you call it? A spoon, back of a plastic spoon. But then I saw Connie Stewart with the credit card, gift card idea, and I just think it makes more sense. So I keep those gift cards around for that reason. Glad you liked it. Totally enjoyed my day. There we go. Now we have ink. Didn't realize it had gotten so dry. All right, so I'm going to try to get this one straight. The bottom of my card. Oh, pretty good. Yeah, pretty good. That's okay. If you really dislike it, you can always stamp and punch out your greeting and lay it over top of where you were originally putting it. I've done that before. No use in wasting the card or the cardstock, if you ask me. Let's clean up this. Yeah, just a great way to spend the day, and then all of that information still available to you when you're on our teams and attending the super event. SSS Super Team Event, I think we call it. Couldn't really come up with anything more catchy. So there you go. All right, so now I put my little patchwork together on my piece of Cherry Cobbler. I just want to make sure when I put it down, I've got it going in the right direction. Because that's the way it goes when you have directional paper. Be going, what is this? What's happened? So this way is up. All right, so that's on there. And then I've got some evening evergreen ribbon to put on here. We used to have a color called emerald, something emerald. Can't remember what. Once it's gone, it's out of my head. And I could do bows, but I just into doing knots instead today. That's what I'm doing. That's my plan, and I'm sticking to it. All right, I'm going to line this one up in the center as well. And we'll just trim off the edges of the ribbon and then get that one on its card base. What's your weather like today out there, Lynn? You got a nice day? We had a nice warm day, but cool in the shade. And like 21, I think it was. I was back at work, so I can't say that I enjoyed too much of the outside, but my son certainly did. He was out there finishing off the last, well, there's still one more piece to fix one screen, but he finished one more screen for going up on the windows, and he cut the grass, and I think he used the weed whacker or whippersnipper around the edges. He was a busy guy out there. All that after being online and streaming with his friend group. Okay, that's the Christmas card, the token Christmas card done. All right, I got one more to do, and then I'll be wrapping up, but I will show you my cards before I get there. Tonight is bridge night, so yeah, nice day there too. Oh, good to hear. Good to hear. Yeah, tonight's bridge night, so the ladies and I go on to trickstercards.com. I feel like they should be giving me some kickback for all the advertising I give them, although, you know, like it's free. It's a free site. I think I put that way, and these will go this way. Okay, super. Yeah, so we go on there, and then I set up Zoom so we can watch each other and see each other over Zoom, because the video on trickster.com I haven't found works very well, and the ladies in my group are pretty savvy now with this, I would say, and so they like using the same platform, so that's okay with me. And then we set up Zoom, and then after that we play on a different device. So most of them use a tablet and a phone, and we can play Trickster cards in a room. It's quite fun. We play for a couple hours and chat and catch up, and quite nice. Quite a nice thing to do. So I'm using another new paper. This is the Symmetry paper that is in the new annual catalog. It's got a lot of beautiful flowers in it and some bold, bold colors. It kind of reminds me of a paper we had a few years back with, what's it called? Blooms or In Blooms, and had little punched flowers. Just because it's so bright and gorgeous. Okay, do my little weave here, get this underneath. If you're watching the replay, you've heard my story about weaving the swing seats in the backyard. But if you've joined in and you missed that part, well, you'll have to go back and listen to that. I'm quite proud of my swing and how it's turned out. I just have to sew it now. So sew the like 4 seam edges with some, I bought some really strong upholstery thread and a strong needle, so I don't know. See how it goes. The girl who did it on Pinterest said it was a success, even on year 2. So, so I think it was worth a try. Pardon me. Alrighty, last little mini quilt is done. I've got my piece of white. I'm going to grab the greeting, and on this I'm going to use Night of Navy, because that's my card base. And this one's going to be that Hip Hip Hooray, which I think is a nice greeting for this. let's just give it a trial run on my scratch paper, make sure I'm lining up well, and then we'll go in. Perfect. So it's just the first one that got a little bit wonky. I know. I should have brought my Stamparatus out and got it straightened up that way, but I'm more of a let's get it done kind of gal than it has to be perfect kind of gal. At least when it comes to card making. Completely different thing at work or other things that I'm doing. Because those of you who know me know that. And would be going, she's a what kind of girl? Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. Oh, look at that. I'm all out of my Stampin' Seal. I didn't even see that coming. So I'll switch over and grab some liquid glue to finish off that edge. Layer it up here. Tomorrow night I'm back with a Technique Tuesday. You'd think after that weekend of all the different techniques that were shared, and I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how many. There were 13 time slots, but many of us did more than one. But I have something different yet again. Looking over to my shelf where I keep this stuff ready to go, and so something even yet a little bit different. But you may, if you've seen those super event techniques that we did, you may actually see a repeat down the road. Okay, so glue dots we need now. Here they are. I can't wait till my replacement boxes of glue dots arrive, because these ones here unfortunately were a bit defective, and so they're not quite sticky enough. I don't quite know what happened, but Stampin' Up! In their wonderful way and awesome customer service has said, of course we'll take care of that for you, and they're going to send me 4 boxes, because I had 4 boxes on my order when they came like that. So they're just awesome. What a great company. Can't say enough good things. So I'm doing the fake knot here. I wrapped a piece around because I had a whole bunch of this ribbon, but it was all cut too short to wrap fully around. So I have doing like the faux knot. I don't even have to trim it. And so I wrapped a shorter piece around, and then I put a little knot with a really short piece that's like 4 inches. And yeah, that'll hold it in place. I'm going to put an extra glue dot on my ribbon to help hold the ends that are behind in place. If I had my seal, if it hadn't run out a minute ago, I'd have gone over that with that. But this works just as well, because the dimensionals are going on the back anyway. So there we go. Don't be skimpy. You want them to, you don't want saggy cards. You want cards that stay up nice and arrive in the mail the way that you made them. Well, that is really cute. I like this paper more than I thought. All right, ladies, 40 minutes in. I hope you got a chance to watch, and we'll give this all a try. I'm going to show you my 6 cards I have with this. So this is the sample that I made on the weekend. Have a wild birthday, and this paper is the Wildcats, or from the Wildcats suite. It is amazing paper. Just love it. And the greetings from the stamp set. Hi, Debbie. Thanks for popping in. Glad that you're here. Just taking a look down. Late joining. Looking forward to what you... Aw, thank you. So kind of you. Yeah, so here are my cards, so then you'll get a chance to see how to put it together. So with these strips, what I've done is I've woven them together in and out, you know, like we used to do at school with paper. So I'm calling it a mini quilt on the 4x4. So I love this one. This one's really nice. Oh, and this is the new early evergreen, no, evening evergreen sheer ribbon. Okay, then I also wanted to make a card for it's kind of like an online challenge that's put out there for Canadian demonstrators. Thanks, Lynn. And so My dad passed away like many years ago. He's been gone since 2000. But I think of him often, and I never find cards to kind of make in his honor. And then this is the In Good Taste paper, which I think was really nice for him. So I made him a Father's Day card. I know he's not going to get it, but he is in my heart going to get it. So he was a contractor, and he was a very simple kind of guy. So these are all like concrete grays and granite and that color scheme. So I made that for the challenge, but thought I'd use this layout. Okay, then tonight I made with the cute little snail. So I know my greeting's a little bit off, but I put some embellishments over here hoping that's going to draw the eye away. I don't know, but I still like it. It's still a really, really cute card. And then I made this one, Happy Birthday to You. Oh, and so this one opens this way. And these are the new pansy paper. Oh my goodness, so pretty. And there's gingham. Oops, it's over here. There's gingham paper in that pack on the back of almost all the sheets. So you get, I know for sure there's this soft succulent and the freesia and another one that is the gingham pattern. It's just so pretty. So I used the same greeting for all. I used the Best Year Greeting stamp set to do all my cards. There's a Christmas one in there, and so I did this with the Christmas paper. Warm wishes for a happy Christmas. I know, Christmas already, but wouldn't this would make a great Christmas in July card to make with all your cast off pieces. So yeah. And then my last one that I did, which I really wasn't sure about this symmetry or in symmetry paper, but I do like it. It's nice and bright and bold, and I like how this turned out. And it just says hip hip hooray. So I will post a link with those cards, and if you try it out, I invite you to post in that link so I can see your creations. And that's kind of a wrap for me for Mystery Card Monday. I will be back tomorrow night at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard with a new technique. Well, maybe it's new to you, maybe it's not new to you, but it's one that is different from all the ones we did on the weekend. And then Thursday at 6, I'm also doing 3D Thursday, and I've got a bit of a bigger project than usual. So thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful evening. Enjoy the sunshine wherever you are, and I'll see you next time.